Ryan, on that first, if you wish to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Scratch that previous statement. I'm sorry. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, let me try this again. There we go. I call this meeting in the City Council regular meeting in City Hall Council Chambers of 389 Spruce Street on the second floor of Morgantown, West Virginia, 26505 on Tuesday, April 15th, 2025 at 7:07 now p.m. And we are also streaming live via YouTube. If the clerk would please take roll.
Yes. Bill Quackey?
Here.
Louise Michael?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Celine?
Here.
Danielle Trumbull?
Here.
Dave Harshbarger?
Here.
Brian Butcher?
Here.
Mayor Bugana?
Present. And as for the approval of minutes, we're going to postpone that. Is that correct?
The regular special meeting you can vote on.
All right. So hold off on the regular meeting minutes. And then the special meeting minutes. Is that a second?
Second.
Proclamation. All right, excellent. Okay, we have several proclamations. First up, for our proclamation, we have the National Building Safety Month proclamation with one Drew Cantus. There he is. Let me. Would one of you be my medium today? Oh, Ricky's got it? All right, do you want my phone or do you want? If you could stand right here so we have the camera and you can smile nicely for me. Dress up. I know you guys share offices next door to each other. He's not going to be But he's a dog parent, though, he gets your picture. All right. Whereas the City of Morgantown is committed to recognizing that our growth and strength depends on the safety and essential role of our homes, buildings, and infrastructure play both in everyday life and when disasters strike. And whereas our confidence in the resilience of these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, plumbers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure safe construction of buildings. And whereas these guardians are dedicated members of the International Code Council, a nonprofit that brings together local, state, territorial, tribal, and federal officials who are experts in the built environment to create and implement the highest quality codes to protect us in the buildings where we live, learn, work, and play. And whereas these modern buildings codes include safeguards to protect the building from hazards such as hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, wildfires, floods, and earthquakes. And whereas the International Code Council sponsors Building Safety Month to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown protectors of public safety, our local code officials, who assure us a safe, sustainable, and affordable buildings that are essential to our prosperity. And whereas Game On, the theme for Building Safety Month 2024, encourages people to learn about and practice building safety through proclamations, educational events, and community gatherings. And whereas each year in observance of Building Safety Month, people all over the world are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety, resilience, and economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to all of us by local and state building departments, fire prevention bureaus, and federal agencies in protecting lives and property. Now, therefore, I, Joe Bugana, Mayor of the City of Morgantown, West Virginia, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2025 as National Building Safety Month. Accordingly, I encourage our citizens to join us as we participate in Building Safety Month activities.
Good evening, Mayor Abou-Ganim, Deputy Mayor Celine, councilors. It's good to see you again. I want to thank you guys for once again proclaiming the month of May as Building Safety Month. I think it serves to underscore council's unwavering commitment to building codes, building safety, and so far as it relates to the continued safe use and occupancy and maintenance of our properties within the community. I know city staff works really hard to protect our health, safety, and welfare of the community, and it's paramount. This commitment is paramount in that process. So on behalf of Development Services and my staff, I thank you very much.
And it is Frontline Worker Appreciation Month, and it's our Fire Chief Gary Freshour and Police Chief Eric Powell, Deputy Police Chief Chris Reamer. We have the Mon EMS Administrative Coordinator Cody A. Lynch, and we have our educators Samira Abganam and our medical Sarah Dobrzinski, who is an acute stroke nurse practitioner. And is there anyone I forgot? I have a whole list of names here.
Justin?
Justin.
EMS.
Where you at, Justin? And Justin, tell me your last name.
EFAL.
EFAL. I didn't want to pronounce that incorrectly. All right. Is Ricky still here?
He's still here.
He's still here. All right. First off, thank you all for coming.
Did he go back to his office?
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Again, congratulations and welcome.
Thanks, Mayor.
All right, I got everybody here for operations. So you all can read along. Something that we learned in our classroom, I'm sure that educated you.
You just pretend you're reading. He's fine.
All right. I have to use yours to read off of it. Just for the record, this is my sister. Can we stand like right here so that the internet at home can capture us?
Put the tall people in the back. Always.
You guys want to come on over here? All right. Whereas frontline workers are the builders of our community, exercising curiosity, compassion, courage, and creativity to provide essential services that ensure the safety, health, and education of our residents. And whereas over 9 million healthcare workers across the United States serve in hospitals, clinics, long-term care facilities, and often place themselves at risk to provide life-saving care. And whereas firefighters respond to the estimated 36 million emergency calls each year, over 800,000 sworn law enforcement officers nationwide work tirelessly to uphold the law and ensure public safety. And emergency medical service personnel respond to more than 240 million calls annually. And whereas teachers dedicate their careers to shaping the future of our communities. With over 3.7 million educators in the U.S. providing knowledge and guidance to our youth, and whereas frontline workers embody the essence of builders, flexible thinkers, and constructive problem solvers who respect the dignity of all people by dedicating themselves to overcoming challenges and uniting communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Joe Abugana, Mayor of the City of Morgantown, West Virginia, on behalf of the Morgantown City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2025 as Frontline Worker Appreciation Month in the City of Morgantown, and encourage all residents to join in recognizing and honoring the heroic contributions of our healthcare workers, firefighters, law enforcement officers, EMS personnel, and teachers. And if it's all right with you, I'm going to have council come up and take a group photo, and then after that, if you all each take a turn introducing yourselves so those at home can become acclimated with you and all the contributions you've done for the city, if that's okay. All right. Bill, can I borrow you?
Certainly.
All right. And then you want to back up for a group photo. It's even written in the there you go. We're ready.
Gotcha. I can get it.
That's it? Nice.
Don't worry about wasting the film, you know. I took about 8 pictures. I hope you got eyes open in one of them.
Photoshop everybody's head. That's head.
And then no pressure. And then no pressure. Just introduce yourself and tell us job title. And really, if that's okay. All right. And then
I'm Eric, I'm the chief of police. Been the chief for about 4 years now, so did you want me to say anything? Other than
no,
just
that's, I mean,
introduce myself?
we just, that's it.
Thank you, guys.
I'm Gary Freshour. I've been with the city for 20 years, but I've only been the chief for about 6 months for the fire department. Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you.
My name's Sarah Dobrzinski. I'm a stroke nurse practitioner at Ruby Hospital, taking care of our stroke patients all over the state. Thank you.
Samira Abughanam. I'm a special educator at Mountaineer Middle School. Been there for about 7 years.
Thank you.
My name is Cody Lynch. I'm the administrative coordinator for Mon EMS. I've been with Mon EMS for 5 years now.
I'm Justin Efall. I'm one of the captains at Mon EMS. I've been doing EMS for about 11 years now.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And next we have International Dark Sky Week Proclamation. Is there Girl Scout Troop 10-10254 with a troop leader, Naomi Hall?
Yeah, I was my 11 girl student.
All right. So this would make Emma and Cora?
Nora.
Nora, okay. I'm not.
They have a lot of badges.
Maybe not photographer again?
Absolutely.
Emma. You're Emma? It's very nice to meet you. Or do you want to put those down? You look happy. And you're Nora? It's very nice to meet you, Nora. All right. I used to be a scout, but I didn't like camping. It scared me. I don't like it.
Camping is pretty fun.
It's pretty. You like camping?
Yeah.
I don't even like sleeping in my backyard. I would get scared halfway through the night going outside. So you're far braver than me. All right. Whereas the aesthetic beauty and wonder of a natural night sky is a shared heritage of all humankind, and whereas the experience of standing under a starry night sky inspires feelings of wonder and awe, encouraging a growing interest in science and nature, particularly among young people and visitors from outside the local communities, and whereas light pollution has scientifically established economic and environmental consequences, which result in significant impacts on the ecology and human health of all communities. And whereas 80% of the world's population, including many people in Morai, and whereas light pollution represents a waste of natural resources amounting to roughly $3 billion per year of wasted energy in the United States and contributes to diminished energy security. And whereas West Virginia is home to several notable astronomical facilities, most famously the Green Bank Observatory, which housed the Green Bank Telescope, which is the world's largest full serial radio telescope. The GBT plays a crucial role in radio astronomy, studying pulsars and distant galaxies, as well as being a leader in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And whereas West Virginia is home to dozens of nocturnal wildlife species, and these species rely on undisturbed night environments to hunt, mate, and thrive. And whereas Dark Sky International, the globally recognized authority on light pollution, recognizes International Dark Sky Week to raise awareness of the effects of light pollution, provide free education, resources, and solutions to the public, and encourage the protection of and enjoyment of dark skies and responsible outdoor lighting. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Joe Abughanam, Mayor of the City of Morgantown, West Virginia, do hereby declare Tuesday, April 21st through the 28th, 2025 as International Dark Sky Week in the City of Morgantown, and ask each resident to join in not only in observing and pondering upon this important week, but also in raising awareness and support for protecting our precious dark sky as a resource. And then you each get one of these, and then step a little closer right here. All right, good. Did you all get enough? Hold on, we're not done. Did you all get your photo?
I'll take one more.
One more. All right, and then
We have information stuff on Dark Sky.
well, here, why don't you come right here real quick? And why don't you tell us about it? I know you're both very brave because you went camping and I was not brave enough to. So that was a trick to see if you'd be brave enough to tell us about it. You ready? All right, we're ready to listen.
For our volunteer project, we decided that we were going to help make an impact on light pollution and make it so that more people could enjoy the night sky and so that local animals and just animals in general can, live healthier lives.
And bright lights, they also affect basically how people sleep, and loss of sleep can make stress and anxiety levels higher and low blood sugar, I'm pretty sure. So it's definitely not good.
Yeah, it's bad for the environment, it's bad for humans too.
And have you been to the Green Bank telescope yet?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet, but you will.
Yes, and there
Hopefully.
are multiple, actual dark sky approved, state parks in West Virginia, and I have been to a couple of those.
I haven't ever really been to a, well, at least I don't think I haven't been to one.
Yeah.
But the vacation guides that we have here, they say spots where it's good to see the night sky.
Could you pass them over? This is Damien here, and he's really great at helping pass that stuff around for us. And do they come with stickers? Is that what I see?
Yeah.
I love a sticker.
Oh. Fantastic. Thank you.
You guys want to get a picture?
Because you brought us stickers, it's not quite Girl Scout cookies, but we'll accept. So we'll take a photo with you. Come back up, guys. All right, let's put the sticker on. Come back up. Come on. All the way up here. You're gonna be center of attention.
Another year, they'll be taller.
More here.
Thank you.
Great job. I'm gonna have my first computer stick. I gave my computer.
Yours or mine? That's yours.
Yours, please.
That's mine. I'll
This
pass
is
it.
mine.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Heather.
We do have a...
There we are. We missed you.
We get to see Heather again. Is it weird that we're honoring you and replacing you on the same night?
How does that work? It's the passing of the torch, which I was going to have an actual flame by fire code.
That's the gavel.
What's that?
You have flashlight torch.
Very British. You don't have to right now. At the end. All right. Oh, yeah. That was my... You and all accounts there? Both of us. With Nikki and all. That's okay. All right. Whereas Heather R. Carl entered into service with the City of Morgantown on March 23rd, 2015 as a secretary in the city clerk's office, demonstrating exceptional dedication and professionalism in her role. And whereas on August 7th, 2018, Heather R. Carl was appointed deputy city clerk, where she continued to serve with integrity, efficiency, and loyalty, ensuring the smooth operation of city affairs and providing invaluable support to city leadership and the community. And whereas through her 10 years of service, Heather R. Carl has exemplified a steadfast commitment to public service, contributing to the success and effectiveness of the city clerk's office and the city of Morgantown as a whole. And whereas her hard work, professionalism, and dedication have left a lasting impact on her colleagues, city officials, and the residents of Morgantown. And whereas as she now embarks on her well-earned retirement, all of us at the City of Morgantown extend our deepest appreciation for her service and wish her happiness, health, and fulfillment in the years to come. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Morgantown express its heartfelt gratitude to Heather R. Carl for her outstanding service and dedication, express gratitude and congratulates her on this milestone occasion. Be it further resolved that the City of Morgantown wishes her all the best in her future endeavors and recognizes her as a public servant whose contributions have made a lasting impact and is a remarkable example for others to follow. In witness whereof, I, Joe Abou-Ganim, Mayor of the City of Morgantown, West Virginia, hereunto set my hand and cause the official seal of the City of Morgantown to be hereto affixed on this 27th day of March, 2025. There you are. And then we're going to get one with all of council, if that's okay. This is for my record. And so we're going to read, I'm sorry. You're not here?
Autumn, did you get one?
And I wanted to get a whole picture with council, but I also have Nikki, and then I wanted to take a picture with both of you, if that's okay. And then we'll do the group photo. All right.
What is it?
Do you want?
And the Charter of the City of Morgantown, and I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of office of Deputy City Clerk for the City of Morgantown, so long as I shall continue therein to the best of my skill and judgment.
I do.
All right.
Yep. Last time I'm going to ask you all. This evening, yep.
There we go, Bill.
It's less tight than it used to be.
Do you want
Do I get this one?
Always, come on.
Get in here.
We three, come on.
She thought she was released.
Yeah, we're done.
Thank you.
Did you want to give a speech about retirement?
Just, it's been wonderful working with everybody, and I will miss everybody. So, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for that.
I thought you were done reading.
That's it. Okay. We're good on correspondence. Public hearing, an ordinance, the City of Morgantown providing for the zoning reclassification of certain parcels of real estate in the 7th Ward of the City of Morgantown. Tax District 15, Tax Map 6, Parcel 76.2 from an OI Office and Institutional District to a B2 Service Business District, and a portion of parcels of real estate in the 7th Ward of the City of Morgantown, Tax District 15, Tax Map 6, Parcel 74 and 76.4 from an R1 Single Family Residential District and an OI Office and Institutional District to a B2 Service Business District, and a portion of parcel of real estate in the 7th Ward of the City of Morgantown, Tax District 15, Tax Map 6, Parcel 74 from an R1 Single Family Residential District to an OI Office and Institutional District, amending Article 1331 of the Planning and Zoning Code of the City of Morgantown, known as shown on the exhibit here to attach, and declare to be part of this ordinance as if the same were set forth herein. I open this public portion now.
Public hearing.
Public hearing.
Public hearing of this.
Okay, so I've never done this before.
This is on this specific item?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the other side.
For changing the zoning on this one parcel, yeah.
All right. Close. This is about the zoning?
It is.
Okay.
One hates to be picky, but I am. I drove through recently because I always cut through in front of the health department to get out that little side bit where the light is for the Northside Fire Station, and they had that whole thing blocked off. There were no outlet signs, no way to get out of here, and no turn your dumb ass around signs. It was just there with a little bit of construction here and there, and I could not get out, which is fine. I turned around and I got out, but I had to wait for 20 minutes to get onto Elmer Prince after that, which made me wonder, what if my house catches on fire? Are the fire trucks getting out? Damien has cleared that up for me. There is a separate access road for the fire trucks. I don't know who's in control of the situation, but I would ask that you put up signs saying that there's no way to get out once you go in front of the health department. That's it.
Anyone else wishing to comment on this particular item? Okay, close that. Next public hearing is an ordinance authorizing a memorandum of agreement with the Monongalia Historic Society. Anyone wishing to comment on this particular item?
Dirty work, but somebody has to do it. I was a history major. I'm a culture vulture. I love this kind of stuff. I think the mill is fantastic. My kids went through it on a tour once. Really liked it. When I heard the presentation that was being given by the people who are running it now, I thought, well, I don't know what Preston County's got going on, but there's still buckwheat probably needs to be ground. Maybe it could be done there. But they probably have set up already. But if they're shipping it out, doing it to the rolling mill would make sense. But my bigger question is, this is squarely outside the city limits. And why is my money paying for it? I was going to pay for it either way, either county or state or something. But it seems more appropriate that the county take this over. I know the answer to that question, so I'll not ask it. But there should be some sort of cooperation, at least some input from the county to help. And also, I'm not seeing any consideration in the contract. I may have missed it because I was reading fast. Any changing of hands of money between the City of Morgantown and the Historical Society and the current property owner. So I don't know if there's a price tag on this for the property itself. There's a comment made at the last meeting where this was discussed, that there are several property owners around it, and so annexing this into City of Morgantown would be a problem. The last I checked, which was quite a while ago, Morgantown Learning Academy owns the property surrounding the entire mill. So it's only a single property owner. That may have changed since then. But if it's a single property owner, it seems to make it easier to negotiate something to have a right-of-way or some more path to get inside city limits, which would be fantastic. Otherwise, I'm squarely in favor of having it as a cultural asset. But I am curious what the price tag is on it. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay. Unfinished business. First, we have consideration of approval of a second reading of an ordinance of the City of Morgantown providing for the zoning reclassification of certain parcels of real estate in the 7th Ward of the City of Morgantown, Tax District 15, Tax Map 6, Parcel 76.2 from an OI office and institutional district to a B2 service business district, and a portion of parcels of real estate in the 7th Ward of the City of Morgantown, Tax District 15, Tax Map 6, Parcel 74 and 76.4 from an R1 single-family residential district and an OI office and institutional district to a B2 service business district, and a portion of parcel of real estate in the 7th Ward of the City of Morgantown, Tax District 15, Tax Map 6, Parcel 74, from an R1 single-family residential district to an OI office and institutional district, amending Article 1331 of the Planning and Zoning Code of the City of Morgantown as shown on the exhibit hereto attached and declared to be part of this ordinance as if the same were set forth herein for the first reading on March 4th, 2025. Who would like to?
I can describe the ordinance. This is an ordinance making an amendment to the zoning map as requested by WVU Hospitals to facilitate construction of the Eye Institute. The Planning Commission recommended approval as consistent with the comprehensive plan of the city, and this passed first reading, so before council on second reading for passage tonight.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Second. Okay. Good. Call for the question, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bill Koecki?
Yes.
Weezy Michael?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine?
Yes.
Danielle Trumbull?
Yes.
Dave Hirschbarger?
Yes.
Ryan Butcher? Yes. Mayor Buchanan?
Yes. Passes 7-0. Next, we have consideration of approval of a second reading of an ordinance authorizing a memorandum of agreement with the Monongalia Historical Society, Inc., with the first reading being April 1st, 2025.
This memorandum of agreement authorizes the city to take ownership of the Eastern Roller Mill, all assets associated with it, including the Mon Historical Society's intellectual property and their bank account as well. So there is money changing hands, but it's being donated to the city as part of this agreement. Again, this has passed our other readings, and any questions? All right.
Move to approve.
Second. Have we looked any further? This is a question I keep asking about annexing into the city.
I have not looked into that. I know, as Annie was talking about, it doesn't abut existing city limits, so there would have to be talks with other adjacent property owners. I think the school's across the road, which does abut the airport property, so potentially if that's the route we would go to talk to them, that could happen. Whether they would want to annex in is a different story.
But we do have city limits along a right-of-way right up to that street, right?
Very near there.
Near there,
I do think there are viable options, but require cooperation. We can certainly begin reaching out and making those requests of adjoining owners.
I would like to see that happen. I do think if we're going to take in property, we should ensure that it is in city limits.
There are other properties we have, that Botanical Garden, we own several properties in Westover, Star City, that are different situations, but yeah.
For the, excuse me, for our council, is there an advantage to having it as city property, or zoned in the city? What are the negatives and pluses?
I don't know.
We can certainly, we can look into that and give you kind of some summaries of what those are. And as we go about contacting the property owners and exploring those options, we can provide the council background on what that would mean for you.
Very good, thank you.
I just wanted to express appreciation of the group that has held together for so long and developed this property along with intellectual property, along with some classes of WVU students, and just the people over the years that have tended it carefully, that it still can operate and has the assets that can make it into an area that can be used multiple ways. And I think we don't protect enough of our history, and so I appreciate the city making a point of accepting this and thereby helping to protect it into the future.
Maybe just to be clear, this is being donated to the city.
Yes, we are not using city assets to acquire it.
I believe they said we're acquiring money.
We are acquiring their intellectual property, that they have several publications. That gives us the right to further publish those and collect sales from those. And then also the remaining assets they have in their bank account, which was $27,000.
I remember 27.
Yeah.
We would look forward to continuing collaboration with people that know how to run it, because that would be a good thing to have.
That's what I look forward to, is learning how to actually operate the mill when they go out and teach us how to do that.
I don't know that we would make that your responsibility.
No, but it'd be interesting to know. Yeah.
Some Morgantown branded corn mill?
Yeah.
All right.
Bill Koecki?
Yes.
Weezy Michael?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine?
Yes.
Danielle Trumbull?
Yes.
Dave Hirschberg?
Yes.
Brian Butcher?
Yes.
Mayor Buchanan?
Yes. Passes 7-0. Boards and commission.
Mayor, I move to reappoint Larissa Kaysen to the Fire Code Board of Appeals.
Second.
By acclamation.
Yep. And I'll move to approve Joe Weiss to the ICC Building Board of Appeals Commission.
Second.
By acclamation. All right. And now we are under a public portion, which is subject to rules established by council and adopted by resolution. As a friendly reminder, you have 4 minutes. There is a timer. Please state your name and address before you speak. Even if you did not sign up, you still have an opportunity to talk. And I open this public portion now. First, we have Ms. Amy Cronin-York of the Human Rights Commission.
First issue. Last week, there was a special meeting called. The agenda for it said that it had personnel matters that were being considered on it, and that they were likely to go into, or anticipated that, they'd be discussed in executive session. So nobody came, because we thought you were having an executive session meeting. Marty Schamberger had been up at an earlier meeting saying the public should be involved in the hiring of a city manager, get a look at, kick the tires, that sort of thing. And apparently that's what this meeting was for, but nobody knew. So no tires were kicked, I guess, and decisions are being made. Enough said. I spent the past week doing dang near nothing except watching the legislature and listening to the legislature and the hearings rooms, and I had several sources going at once, and I'm not impressed. This is a multi-page document just listing out the bills that were passed. There are a lot of important things that were skipped over by the legislature. There are a lot of important things that I would have been screaming about had they passed them. Instead, they passed other things that I'll scream about. One of them was Senate Bill 579. Its specific purpose was to eliminate municipal protections for any protected classes like we have veterans, sexual orientation, gender identity. They would have been gone had this passed. Fortunately, it did not. It died in committee, which made me happy, except I was still afraid it would pop up at the last minute. There was also House Bill 2381 that was going to let anybody who wanted in the county, or anybody who pays sales tax in the county, or what have you, vote in municipal elections, and you could vote in every municipal election in the county where you live, which seems like triple or quadruple dipping to me, but what do I know? That one also failed, which is great. Senate Bill 50 did pass. That affects municipal elections. We have to change when we do them. They must be with the primary or the general election. We must let people know when we're going to do that. We may stagger terms or maybe not. I find it concerning. Home rule, I learned about in history class, and was in the case of Ireland. Great Britain had taken over Ireland and had it as a colony, and they had very bad names for Irish people who they would put in their military and use them as they pleased. But they had home rule. It was okay. It's about self-determination, and that's how I read the statute the first time. Apparently I read it wrong because that was not what was going on in the legislature this time. They held up all sorts of Morgantown ordinances and WVU practices and wanted to get rid of every last one of them. We were the main example, which is troubling. Senate Bill 474 was one that was a bloodbath at the end of the House session. Delegates Taylor, Hamilton, Williams, Lewis, Fluharty, and Hansen voted in a very steady block to keep this thing out. This is getting rid of DEI and anything that talks about it, because it is very offensive to have inclusion or diversity. Now, what's that middle one? Equity? Because that Pledge of Allegiance with liberty and justice for all, we don't really mean that. They passed several bills that were affirmative action flat out for Purple Heart veterans and the like, and that was okay. I was emailing and commenting nonstop on these things, almost, and to no effect, I guess. And I'm except for the delegates I mentioned, who are I'll refer to as Dugget. It took me several days to figure out that Dugget meant delegate. It's an enunciation thing. But rights are being stripped, and I sincerely encourage all to vote in the municipal election, which is early voting going on now. And I'm sure Christine will remind everybody when the actual election date is. But our voice is getting smaller all the time. In municipal election, we should use. Thank you.
Next we have Stephanie Hunt.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Hunt, 220 Front Ave. I live in Greenmont. First, I just want to thank you all, staff and council, for continuing to make this a space where the public can speak to you and interact with you. And speaking of that, I really want to give a quick shout out for the Morgantown Public Library System. They have a 4-minute community survey, and it's really important that we as a community weigh in on this survey because this will help shape the direction they're taking. It's a great opportunity for residents to help the library better meet our needs, and the surveys on their Instagram and the city page. I think you guys reposted it. So I just want to encourage folks to fill that out because our library is such a vital resource to our community, to families, students. I know as a student I spend a lot of time there, and people who might not have their wives have access to these things now have a space to access them. Like I the other day used, I'm not sure if people know, they have, what is it called? Notary for free. It's awesome. And I'm also really glad to see the downtown revitalization is being included on the city's funding priorities. I saw it on the schedule today. If the city secures this support, I would hope some of the funds are used to explore ways to support small business development and activate vacant storefronts. And I really also hope that the city includes the public in deciding what revitalization looks like. So like improving sidewalks, lighting, signage, public art. I want downtown to be a place that feels welcoming and safe and full of life. And thank you all for your time and for helping make residents' voices a part of this process. Thanks.
Anybody else wishing to speak at this time?
My name is Paige Rearing, and I live at, am I supposed, okay. And I live at 231 Spruce Street, and I wanted to express my support for repealing the camping ban. Banning camping on public property is not a solution for homelessness, poverty, or drug addiction. It is punishment for being poor, for having nowhere else to go, for being human in a system that has promised compassion and delivered cruelty. It tells people who already have nothing that being seen is a crime. On Saturday, I made the 4-hour drive to McDowell County with a team of 12 volunteers to assist with flood relief, because despite pleas for help from more than 400 households, the people closest to them feign ignorance and look away. That day, we shoveled buckets of muck out of the basements of 3 homes. We removed armfuls of fiberglass, some of it weighed down by mud and the rest spitting tufts of sharp, soft debris. Although we were wearing PPE that we purchased for ourselves, who knows how much of that fiberglass we inhaled. But that's nothing compared to the people being forced to live there. Not even the local church can act as a temporary shelter anymore, because contractors promising free repairs and construction just tore up half the building before saying, just condemn it. And then they left, not even repairing what they had destroyed in this church that had been actively housing families displaced by the February floods. So now the poorest people in our state sleep on their river-soaked mattresses while breathing in the nauseating stench of the exploded septic tank beneath their home. If this camping ban stays in effect, then these people are faced with 2 options. Either sleep on public property, risking citation and possible arrest, or sleep in the gutted, toxic ruins of their most recent tragedy. And if they choose to camp, will you send them to jail? Will you brand them as criminals? Please show some authenticity of character. Stand up for your neighbor, for what you know to be right and decent, even if it conflicts with your ideals or your promises to lobbyists. Many of us are one medical emergency away from homelessness ourselves. Whatever pittance we have in our savings account will not cover our rent if we get laid off. With one bad day, any one of us could be standing alongside the same people you are trying to hide away in jail cells and coffins. No one expects you to solve the homelessness crisis overnight. But as our country continues pushing policies of callous cruelty, we demand that you are at least honest, that you are less worried about the imagined danger an unhoused person poses and more concerned about having to face evidence of our societies and your own failures. Because criminalizing homelessness only furthers the nearly inescapable cycle of poverty. And if you can't say it plainly, ask yourself why. Look into the furthest corners of your soul and ask where that callous rot in your heart has come from. Because if you actually care about alleviating, not criminalizing homelessness and its victims, you will not try to hide it away. Instead, you will acknowledge and face it with courage. You will say, we were wrong. We are sorry. Get over your discomfort of having to walk by these people, because let me reiterate, they are people with lives and histories as layered and complex as your own. And they are your constituents. And West Virginians are supposed to take care of each other.
Anybody else wishing to speak at this time?
Gary Freshour, 1052 Laurelwood Drive, Fire Chief. I just wanted to take a second, and I just wanted to, I want to thank everybody for acknowledging, you know, the first responders today. I thought that was really nice. I also wanted to extend gratitude for Damien and Bill and Joe and Danielle and Christina and Emily for coming to our ceremony that we had there half a month ago for the promotions. I really think that's it's a really nice start, and I wanted to walk up here just to kind of once again put it on record to extend the olive branch that I know that in this city, especially over the last several years, there have been some tensions between the fire department and the city. And I'm not going to stand up here and say I have all the answers. And I'm not going to stand up here and say that I expect you guys to cave to everything that we expect, and I'm not asking for any of those things. I just wanted to put it out on record that inside our own little circle, I have people telling me that who maybe don't like the way that I'm approaching certain things is, you know, they think I'm going to take the fire department back like 20 years. Well, actually, I'd like to take it back before I leave here, farther back than that. I'd like to take it back to around 1941. So for the people that went to our ceremony, bear with me for a second. In April of 1941, the longest serving member of the fire department at 43 years got sick. Not only was he the longest serving member, he was the longest serving fire chief, and he'd been the fire chief for over 23 years. His wife had died and he had no family. And he got to the point where he was pretty much bedridden. And they didn't want to put him back in his house because there was nobody there to care for him. And this city in 1941 in April housed him in this very building because it was the fire station and it was also city administration at the time. And collectively for the next 6 months, city administration and fire department individuals, hour by hour, day after day, took care of that man. They didn't hire a new chief. They waited to let him serve out his term. He passed away in November. But they worked together to take care of their own. I don't know if we can get back to that point, but I'm hoping we can. And I just wanted to get it on record. I appreciate everything you guys do. And if you ever need anything from me, I'm right across the street. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Anybody else wishing to speak at this time?
Good evening, everyone. Mimi Ferguson, 424 Stewart Street. I just have two things really quick. First, to add to the list of legislative priorities affecting Morgantown that Annie had been talking about, they also passed House Bill 3279, which directly impacts WVU and other public institutions in the state. It impacts our Board of Governors. They added 3 seats to the Board of Governors, but they also took away 3 seats. So in that process, they stripped staff council, a faculty representative, I believe, and the student voice representative on the Board of Governors. So that's just another thing that seems and really feels like a loss for our community. And then the second thing is that my SGA term as local governance liaison has come to an end. So in the next few weeks, somebody else will be popping their head into your meetings, and hopefully they enjoy it as much as I have. But I'm always available if any of you guys ever need a direct contact to the university, and I'll be sticking around hopefully in some other position with SGA. So thank you all.
Anybody else wishing to speak at this time? All right, closing any public comment. Special committee reports? None. Consent agenda? None. New business? First, we have consideration or approval of the rates of levy laid by the city of Morgantown. Excuse me. and approved by the state auditor for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, in accordance with Chapter 11, Article 8 of the West Virginia Code. And
This is, I'll take it. This is the final step in the process of approving our budget for the fiscal year 25-26. Mid-March, we pass it to the state auditor's office. They approve it, and they send it back for us. The last thing we have to do is, I tried to look into the word laying of the levy is a weird term. I was trying to look into the history of that, but this is the last step, officially setting the rates that set the tax, or the tax rates for the next year. The rates haven't changed. This is the same rates as last year. This is just the final step we have to take for the state auditor's office.
Move to approve.
second. Please?
Bill Koicki,
Yes.
Weezy Michael,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine,
Yes?
Danielle Trumbull,
Yes?
Dave Harshbarger,
Yes.
Brian Butcher,
Yes.
Mayor Buchanan,
Yes, passes 7-0. Next, we have consideration of approval of a resolution amending the 24-25 budget revision number 1 for the Morgantown Airport Improvement Fund.
So this is, this is already, the grants have already been approved. This is kind of putting them in the budget now that we've got the funds so we can spend them. This supports our phase 4 and 5 of the airport runway project. I believe it's $10 million total for that. Any questions? This was approved previously, and now this is just the actual process of adjusting the budget to follow up with that.
Second.
Bill Koicki,
Yes.
Weezy Michael,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine,
Yes?
Danielle Trumbull,
Yes?
Dave Harshbarger,
Yes.
Brian Butcher,
Yes.
Mayor Buchanan,
Yes, passes 7-0. Next, we have consideration of approval of a resolution setting a public hearing date to provide notice of such public hearing regarding the approval of the tax increment financing application, the TIF application, with respect to the proposed project plan number 3 for the redevelopment district known and designated as City of Morgantown Riverfront Development Redevelopment District number 2, the TIF district. To submission of the TIF district application to the West Virginia Division of Economic Development, and 3, approval of other items in connection therewith.
I'm going to let Brian and Mr. Tom Amon take care of this one.
Thanks, Damian. Mayor, this resolution will set a public hearing to take comments on the city's proposal to amend the Riverfront TIF district, which covers the Wharf district. Generally, the city has worked with bondholder Mermaid LLC and with Tom Amon as bond counsel and Rob Steptoe of Cruz and Associates as the underwriter to find a way to restructure the debt in that district that will put everyone in a better place. And I'll let Tom provide a more specific description.
Well said. Thank you. Good evening. So this goes back several years that we've been working on this one, as some of you may remember. But this is the Riverfront District, TIF District number 2, created in 2003. So this one's pretty mature, getting toward the end of this one, which is actually part of the problem. Approved a project plan in 2004, issued senior bonds in 2006 to finance part of the cost of the parking garage down there, and some infrastructure improvements on Walnut Street and that surrounding area. 6.1 million. Those bonds are significantly paid down now at this point. I believe 3-point-something million at this stage. The 2007 bonds were subordinate bonds, in the amount of 8.6 million. These were placed with the developer at the time, Platinum Properties. Actually, Mermaid was the owner, Platinum Properties was the developer. So we, issued the bond, that was to finance part of the cost of the event center, or to actually reimburse the developer who financed those costs, and then the bonds through repaying the tax increment revenues and the principal and interest helps them recoup some of that investment to build the theater. So those bonds have not had significant monies applied to them over the years. There's enough, obviously, to cover the senior bonds plus the coverage, but very little money's left over. So there's been talks over the years about restructuring all these bonds in such a way as to, especially with respect to the subordinate bonds, increase their ability to recapture some of their investment. So that's where we are, and through the law that was changed a couple of years ago, there's an opportunity for any district that had bonds outstanding prior to 2020 to extend the life of that district by 15 years, up to 15 years. And so these proceedings would do that, extend the district, allow bonds to be issued to take advantage of extending the district, replace Platinum Properties with the city as the developer in that district, and create an opportunity to restructure those bonds. So the senior bonds would be issued and to repay the 2006 bonds that are outstanding and pay off some of those subordinate bonds. So that allows the subordinate holder to recoup some of that investment. And then there would be a new subordinate bond placed with probably the trust, which, because of the coverage over the senior bonds, you'd have monies that would be applied to those subordinate bonds, and again, help them to recoup additional amounts of that investment. So this is the first step. It would set a public hearing for May 20th at 7 p.m. It would approve publishing notice, which we'll take care of, and then also notice to the levying bodies, which we'll take care of as well. And then the next time we would see you would be on the 20th for the public hearing, at which time you would consider submitting this to the West Virginia Division of Economic Development, which is that whole group has been restructured, and would move the process forward at that time if you're so inclined to do so. So, happy to try to answer any questions anyone may have. Yes?
So, in terms of, at some point, if there were more development in the Wharf District, there being some spin-off that would help with that development and furthering development in that area, how does this help that situation?
So there would be an agreement that 50%, so half, so there's one parcel development area where the city owns some property down there that's excluded from the bonds. So that will be set aside, and the revenues associated with that will not be captured by the bonds or the restructuring. So that's one thing. And then any future growth in the revenues in the district beyond where they are now would be a 50-50 split between the holder of the subordinate bonds as reissued or refinanced and the city. So both parties have an opportunity to participate in any future growth. And
So
as far as the city's portion of those revenues, you all could, pay as you go with that. You can issue additional subordinate bonds. There's options that you could do to utilize that.
So we're satisfying bondholders that haven't really been making much of a recoup on their investment, and we are additionally freeing up potential capital if there was reinvestment.
Correct.
If there was investment in the area for future projects.
Correct.
However we chose to deal with that.
Exactly.
But I think it's important to note sort of the duality of
Yes.
it, that part of it is to satisfy people who are currently faithfully holding bonds over one period of time, and then also potentially, if
potential
we had
for real
development.
additional development.
That there would be some funds that would be loosened up and used.
Correct. Yeah, it's
Or
well
whatever.
stated, well stated. So, and the additional 15 years obviously helps with all that.
Right, gives us the space that
Yes.
there might actually be some redevelopment.
That's right.
Which we would all love to see.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you for clarifying that.
It's tricky to get into these things, isn't it?
Well done.
And I can be wrong, so
No, it's
tell me
okay.
if I'm wrong.
That's all right. No, you were spot on.
Okay.
So, anyone else have anything on that? We'll be back on the 20th. God willing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have two very brief questions. Number one, this is only setting the public hearing in no way approving the refinancing or the extension or anything like that. Only setting the public hearing.
That's correct. This will set the public hearing. After the public hearing, City Council can authorize submission of the application to the Division of Economic Development. Thereafter, if approved by Division of Economic Development, would have the opportunity to adopt an ordinance actually making these changes to the district, and then the actual financing either would be run in conjunction with that ordinance or would be a separate ordinance afterwards.
My second question, May 20th would be the hearing date, and that's already the night of a city council meeting, right?
That's
our
correct.
regular,
This one's
fool
on
me
a-
once,
on a
Ryan,
regular-
fool me once.
on a regular meeting.
Okay.
I don't think he's fooling me. I think he's making wise use of your time.
The last public hearing we set, most of us were not aware that it was that it was going to be a special meeting, like next week, when we're not supposed to be meeting.
Please, thank you.
Bill Coenky?
Yes.
Weezy Michael?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine?
Yes.
Danielle Trumbull?
Yes.
Dave Harshbarger?
Yes.
Brian Butcher?
Yes.
Mayor Buchanan?
Yes. The resolution to set the meeting passes 7-0. Consideration of approval of a resolution authorizing requests for congressionally directed spending for the Morgantown Police Department cruisers, airport runway extension, and for downtown historic revitalization subgrant program.
And so this is us resubmitting projects that we already had, but lost in the whatever.
Well put.
Yeah. It's, these are, those three projects were already awarded, we've lost them. So now we're resubmitting now that our representative delegates have opened up their grant portals. We are submitting three projects. The airport runway, we didn't lose the airport runway. That was one, we're newly submitting that one. $10 million for that, $500,000 for the historic downtown renovation, and then $450,000 for 6 police vehicles. We initially had 1.5 for 20, so we're scaling these requests back and hoping that we will get them back again. Any questions?
I think next time I wanted to say due to the whatever.
Whatever you want to call it.
Personnel change.
Yeah.
Personal change, there we go. Well, appreciate it that they have opened it up at this
Yes.
point. We have this opportunity.
Yep.
Move to approve. Second.
Good to go?
Bill Coenky?
Yes.
Weezy Michael?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine?
Yes.
Danielle Trumbull?
Yes.
Harshbarger?
Yes.
Brian Butcher?
Yes.
Mayor Buchanan?
Yes. Passes 7-0. City manager's report.
I have nothing to report.
I have a question for you,
Sure.
City Manager, and that is just if you have an update on the White Park Bridge by the skating rink?
So yes, we just met with our consultant today. Project's moving forward. The contractor is submitting their submittals for approval. A lot of what you'll see initially will just be the construction of the abutment walls on both sides, and then that'll sit there for a while. And then the bridge itself is being manufactured off-site, and that'll be brought in one piece and set. Actually, two pieces probably. So you'll see a lot of construction, it'll sit for a while, then you'll just see the bridge. And so right now it's just the early stages. Like I said, the contractor's submitting all their paperwork and submitting everything they need to get approved for the bridge design and stuff like that. So all the little nuts and bolts and things like that we're going through. They are going to be staging on site. I think they've started putting stuff out on Boat Park's allowing them to stage in the end of the parking lot there with ice rink construction going on in the front part of the parking lot. We have a little section out at the other end of it. But yeah, it's moving. But right now it's going to be slow. Then it'll start going once all the we approve the concrete that they submitted, all the rebar and things like that. So once all that's done, it'll start going fast, and then again it'll stop for a while, and the bridge will be there, hopefully. So it's.
Can you tell us when they're gonna?
Yes, yeah, we probably could publicize that, and we'll have to close the road off and bring it in. And, but yeah, we could.
We can
probably-
walk in for
yeah.
a little bit and come look. It just would be
From a
amazing
distance.
to watch it
Yeah.
get set.
Yeah.
Is there a goal timeline date?
We're looking, I think by August, I think is what I think we said.
By August?
Yeah, August, September timeframe to be done. So yeah.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, still continue on, maybe a little off the mark for city manager. However, at our last coordinating council meeting, there was a complaint from, I think, First Ward, that there was an odor coming from what was perceived to be burning at our physical facility over there. I did ask Damien about that, and Damien responded.
This is a complaint we get periodically, over the years. I know I've had that complaint before, like the First Ward neighborhood, part of the Second Ward, will wake up and there'll be a plastic burning smell. And so we'll look into to see if it is something coming from the industrial park across the river. It wasn't, some people thought maybe it was Public Works burning brush or something like that, and we haven't been doing anything like that lately. So it wasn't anything from the city. But I do, living in, second, Greenmont neighborhood, I know I've gotten that, people have asked me about that before, and, but it's usually just, one or two times in the summertime, and then the next year it's the same thing, and, so we'll look into seeing what we can try to find out.
When you all collect tires, is there anything, or you just collect tires?
We just collect tires, yeah. We stack them in a semi-trailer, and then they come hook up and take those away, so.
Because the smell, I know the smell was one of the things that was brought up this past weekend, but the only thing that went on was collecting tires. I didn't know if there was anything else that went on with that process, but.
No, people just stop, drop them off, we load them into, truck, and DEP comes eventually.
That's what I thought, but I just wanted to.
Could you check with the Kennedy Center?
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't know if they.
I don't think, well, I don't know what the Kennedy Center would have to burn. However, it was comforting to hear that when we do burn brush on occasion, and it's usually once a year, that we apply for a permit and we have standby.
Yes.
To make sure that we're not going to burn everything down. So we do it in a responsible manner, and I just wanted that for the record to
And
be
it's
noted.
just brush.
Yeah, we will.
It's not plastics or trash.
No, we'll
Correct.
burn brush that, but like I said, we'll get a permit through the fire marshal's office, we do, and.
And for the media present, we do not burn tires.
We do not. We collect them and turn them over to DEP.
I didn't know, I was asking more so if they sprayed them with like a chemical to clean them before they sent them off. Not burning them.
And surprisingly, I am always amazed with how many tires we collect. I figured that it would go down over the years, or over the months, but it's steady, you know, anywhere between 200 and 800 tires a month we get. It's
I keep rolling them out of the
surprising.
river.
I have a headline for you, Ben. Mayor of Morgantown speculates as to whether we burn tires. Says we do not. What does that mean?
It's a roller coaster of a headline.
Scratch that.
Sounds like a Facebook post.
I've seen that one.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And clarifying that they don't burn tires. And City Clerk's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to publicly welcome our new deputy clerk again, Nikki Laufer. We're excited to have her. Thank you for applying. I'm looking forward to see where we can go in the clerk's office. We're going to move forward and do more things, so congratulations to her. The Fire Civil Service Commission had a meeting last week, and they set dates to hold an agility exam for new entry-level firefighters. They also set dates for a written exam and 2 open houses. That is something that's been very beneficial to those candidates who do apply. The firefighters come together at the Northside Fire Station, and they have an open house where folks who are interested in becoming a firefighter, they show up at the fire station, and they get to talk to the firefighters, and they have an opportunity to do the agility exam, which is very tough. Wouldn't you say, Mayor?
Yeah. At one point, they thought I was going to faint. So I didn't finish it.
It looked very tough as I watched from
Yeah.
the sidelines.
Yes. Those dates are June 1st, that's a Sunday. That's the first open house, and that's at 1 p.m. at Northside Fire Station. The second open house is Saturday, June 14th at 9 a.m. at the Northside Fire Station. Those will get the candidates ready for the first exam, and that is the agility test. And that is on Saturday, June 28th at 9 a.m. at the Northside Fire Station. Those folks who take the agility exam and pass it will move on to the written exam, and that's about 30 days past that. That gives them time to study and prepare themselves for the written exam, and that is on Wednesday, July 30th at 6 p.m. at the Morgantown Public Safety Training Center. And many of you may recognize that as the former Defense in Depth. That's in Saberton. Yes?
I'm sorry, could you repeat those dates again? There's the 2 test dates.
The agility exam is Saturday, June 28th at 9 a.m. at Northside Fire Station. The written exam is Wednesday, July 30th at 6 p.m. at the Morgantown Public Safety Training Center. If folks are interested in applying, they could go to our website at morgantownwv.gov, hover over departments, and then scroll down to fire department. There is a link that says interested in becoming a Morgantown firefighter. You can click that link, and it takes them to a job interest form. They can fill that information out, and then it'll come straight to the clerk's office, and we have their information. However, if they scroll all the way to the bottom, there is a link to apply. So you could also apply online if you already know you want to be a firefighter. You don't have to fill out the job interest form. There's also information about what the requirements are to even be eligible. Age, where they live. There's a 1-hour drive time from the Morgantown Fire Department, the administrative building, at 300 Spruce Street. You must be 18 years of age or older and not older than 35 years of age at the time of the application. You must be a citizen of the United States. So those are some things about the Morgantown Fire Department. If anyone has questions, please reach out to the city clerk's office. The Police Civil Service Commission will be meeting soon, and we will be setting our date for the entry-level police officer exam, and it will be in June. We're not sure of the date yet, but that will be coming out soon. And then lastly, some election information. Early voting begins tomorrow, at 7 a.m. and it ends at 5:30 p.m. If folks are not sure about what time early voting is and what days, if they could just remember, we follow the state code, and the state code says that early voting must be at the same time as the normal business hours of the city. So Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., no early voting on Friday, and then Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that's the 16th through the 26th. It is at the historic train depot at Hazel Ruby McQueen. That information is also on the website. I want to make sure that folks are aware that to vote in our election, you do not have to live just in the wards 2, 4, or 6 that are the open seats. Anyone that is registered to vote inside the city limits can vote for every ward. I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. There is a photo of our sample ballot on our website. Also know that there are 10 precincts, but those precincts are not based on which ward you live in. They are based on your address and your name. So if folks are not sure where they are registered to vote, they can go on our website and click a link that says, it goes to the West Virginia Secretary of State's website, and it tells you what precinct you're in. And then on down, under our election information, it will tell you where that polling place is based on your precinct, your voting precinct. Again, election day is April 29th from 6:30 to 7:30, 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. We will be coming back to City Hall to tally the results. Folks are welcome to come to the lobby. We will have the big screen down there, and we will post our results as they come in and they're tallied. And that's it.
If I may. City Clerk, are the precincts different, the locations different from the last election?
No.
So where you voted in last election, likely you will vote there again?
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know. Thank you. I think that clarifies it and saves some people agony about have we moved things around.
Right. So if you live in whatever precinct you live in, if you voted in the last election for the county election, and that's still the same precinct. Now the polling places have changed, obviously, but your precinct did not change. Does that make sense?
The city polling places are different.
Yeah, city polling places are different than the county polling places. But the precincts that those do not change.
The precincts remain the same, but
Yes.
the locations that you would go to are maybe different.
Yes.
But they're the same as the last election.
All but one.
Last city election.
All but one. We had a precinct that was out at Research Ridge. We combined them, and they are the Suncrest United Methodist Church now.
And your location for voting can be found on the website,
Yes.
correct? If you type in your address?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good. All right.
Oh, can I share one other thing? Sorry.
Absolutely.
Our goal is always to increase voter turnout. And last election in '23, we did beat the previous election turnout for early voting. We didn't beat it by much, but we did. So our goal is to beat it again. So I just encourage folks to come out and vote. Early voting, it's a very easy place for folks to drive and park, and it's very welcoming, lots of space, or if you can't, come out and vote on election day. That's it. Thank you.
Caesar?
Thank you, Mayor. As you all know, the legislature concluded its regular session. I'm available to provide any updates on legislation that you're interested in, and we'll update with anything impacting the city. I've provided a council an update on SB 50 that does provide for a future change in election dates recently and received a request for an update on the changes to competitive bidding laws, which now allow a procedure for a construction manager at risk for certain projects. So we'll be following up with that as well. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have anything you're particularly interested in that I have not addressed with you yet. Also, following Council's adoption tonight of the memorandum of agreement with the Historical Society, we have a little bit of due diligence to complete to set that transaction up, but we'll schedule a closing on that property and transfer of assets soon, get that titled with the city, and then based on council's discussion tonight, we'll also begin looking at annexation options and outreach to any property owners who would be involved in that, and get you a summary of what the benefits of that process would be, as Councilor Kowalski asked. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Let's start with, where am I not? I think we're back at the beginning. Councilor Quet?
Certainly, be happy to do that. Not much to report, although one comment I would like to make towards Mimi Ferguson. Thank you for your diligence and your attendance. You've been most attentive and helpful. I do hope that your successor will be equally as good. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Other than that, I don't have anything else to report on.
I'm going to talk about Mimi too, but actually, I'm going to lead into the. We had another cleanup project this past weekend, and I wanted to thank Councilor Trumbull, Deputy Mayor Sleen, Mark Downs, and I feel like I forget John, your husband.
Oh, okay.
And Mimi, this group was mainly WVU students, excuse me, and we had 2 areas that we covered, Route 705, going toward the Suncrest Town Center, and we did the Coliseum again. And it's amazing how much garbage is there. But I believe we collected between 50 and 60 bags of garbage, and as Danielle would say, lots of car parts. We could have built a car probably. So it's really come along, and I'm really happy with all the people that are volunteering, and I think Mimi and I are going to tackle a few little things here this month, the rest of the month. So our next project, we have a lot of things going on in May, only because of graduation, moving out, Mother's Day, and Memorial Day. So our next large project won't be till the end of May. I believe we're looking at May 31st. But that one will be on the Don Knotts Boulevard to the University Avenue side. And that's going to require a lot of volunteers. But we have an idea, and we'll work on it, and we've got plenty of time. So in the meantime, Mimi, I just want to say how grateful I am for your friendship, for helping me out, and the rest of the students, and you guys have been wonderful. So I'm going to miss you. So, but anyway, thank you.
Thank you. I'm making on that Mimi thing. You participated on boards and commissions. You participated in these cleanups. I know you participated in a lot of other things that I'm not even aware of. And so anything that you can do to train up whoever comes next, because a lot of times what happens with WVU is we get someone excellent such as yourself, and the next person doesn't really know what's possible, and so they kind of hang back and they don't participate, and then maybe they get toward the end of their term and they wish they had. So if you can help the next person hit the ground running, that would be wonderful. Because, yeah, well, you are not responsible for the next person, but if you could give them a little leg up, that would be wonderful. And yeah, so I finally got to go out on one of these cleanups. I was excited, and we did have a lot of car parts. And Mark Downs was sort of down one of the banks and lifting things up, and Danielle and her husband were just troopers with their backpacks, and they had the extra bags that we needed, and
Not our first cleanup, Jenny.
I know. Well, I've cleaned up over a long period of time, but not as much recently. So this is my re-entry, and then I really appreciated Weezy's leadership and the ability to wrangle all these different people and coordinate having items picked up from different places, and even though I know her back was hurting, she was out there doing what needed to be done. So it's definitely a nice opportunity for modern day heroics, cleaning up all these things and sometimes going down the steep banks or trying to stay back from the traffic, and those intersections looked a lot better. I wanted to say something to our fire chief. I have over the years noticed that City Council has benefited a lot from working with the fire department and the police department, and I have been frustrated and sort of melancholy and sad that has been off a bit over the last couple of years. And that doesn't mean that that's all of the firefighters and police officers. That feels like some people have felt disgruntled and disconnected. And anything, I would say on behalf of my fellow council people who also have enjoyed when we had good relationships with police and firefighters, anything that we can do to make things better, let us know. Because we have had from the police department their instigation for things like creating a soft interview room and giving us legislation on artificial marijuana and trying to figure out how to deal with specific drug issues in our community. And the fire department with excellent outreach, excellent service, working with us when we were dealing with the couch fires back in the day, having really great talks with your predecessors and the police predecessors, where we've always, I felt, had a really great relationship and would look forward to anything that we can do to repair small or large items to make things function better again, because I think that the potential is there and the excellence is there, and why not? So any kind of reset you can orchestrate, do it, because we'll be appreciated by everyone. I guess that's enough for me. Pass it along.
Everyone's already taken most of the stuff. Ryan, my apologies for saying you fooled me once. I guess it was more appropriate to say confused us once on hearing dates. We'll see you next Tuesday. Yeah, Mimi has been great to work with, from SGA meetings to council meetings to cleanups to the safety walk. We will certainly miss her in this role, look forward to someone new, while also continuing to work with her, hopefully in another capacity. So thank you for your efforts. You really have been one of the most engaged student government association people that we have had, and I very much appreciate your work. I was also going to say to Chief Freshour that I appreciate his leadership and his perspective and approach that he brings to his new position. I think the fire department knows that I'm a big supporter and a big fan, and most of the guys know that. But I have very much enjoyed having the opportunity to speak with Chief Freshour a few times recently, and the way that he's approaching the job, from recognizing firefighters for great service to
trying to smooth things over with the city. I very much appreciate that and look forward to years of continuing to work with him on those issues. Last meeting, we were asked for a POTA update, and Assistant Manager Mazzarelli was kind enough to do a little bit of digging into staff views on POTA, said that there have not been any complaints from participating businesses. Several have ordered additional cups from the 1,000 that they started with, which is just, we're a month shy of having been in operation for a year, so I don't think anyone sold several thousand drinks or anything like that, but all of the business owners I spoke with, Grace Hutchins of Apothecary was here a couple of months ago when we were making updates to our POTA ordinance to match some updates that were made at the state. She discussed how great it was. I know I have spoken to the owner of Chestnut Brew Works who said that the POTA program does great things for his businesses, especially in the summer when we're having concerts and things at the amphitheater. I think that it's going well, and Assistant Manager Mazzarelli has pointed out that Morgantown Police Department and Morgantown Fire Department have not submitted any concerns. She said that the ambassadors said that after large events, they sometimes find POTA cups that have been littered, but they did state that that is not out of the ordinary compared to any other amount of trash that they notice an uptick in during such events. So I think generally it has not been a huge concern or a drain on city resources, and we look forward to another summer of making sure that everyone participates safely. I participated today in a countywide food insecurity meeting, which I came away from very depressed. All of the organizations that battle food insecurity here in Mon County, I think we have 13 pantries, most of whom participate in these meetings along with United Way and Salvation Army and Helpful Harvest, a lot of different groups, school system, county. They have all said that they have noted a very large uptick in people requesting their services, but at the same time, funding for things are going down. The Pantry Plus More partners with Mountaineer Food Bank on giveaways pretty frequently, once or twice a month, and they said this past week they only had 5 items to give out to individuals. Like, they had nothing fresh, no bread, no milk, no vegetables, anything like that, just shelf-stable items. Some of these groups were saying that funding for senior boxes have been cut. They have like 200 seniors that they normally serve, and they were asked to cut at least 30 to 50 of those right off the top, people who may be like borderline for meeting criteria for those. And I think it was pretty telling at one point, Commissioner Bloom looked around the room and said, all of us are doing this work here in Mon County. I bet that this time next year, there's a third fewer organizations in this room. Like, they are anticipating huge cuts. The Mountaineer Food Bank has had multiple programs cut by the USDA. So it's a real issue, and we're going to have to figure out a way to help the neighbors in need. Right after that meeting, I jumped directly into my National League of Cities Human Development Committee meeting, which was also very depressing. We were asked to share personal stories about how some of the federal funding cuts or pauses had affected our cities, and I specifically mentioned that we had had several grants that had been rescinded with the budget, and others that we were told maybe wouldn't immediately be affected but do seem to be on pause and we're currently questioning. I also mentioned our recent staffing cuts at NIOSH, which have been very detrimental to our community, and heard from one of my colleagues on that committee who is a council member in Cincinnati that they also experienced several hundred jobs lost. Size of city comparison, I mean, they can probably insulate themselves from that a little more. They have a bit more of a cushion, but I explained that these are very skilled technical jobs that people can't just look around here and find somewhere else to go. A lot of these people will have to leave our community. We also discussed during that meeting the attacks on DEI and what that could mean, because a lot of our funding, even our raise grants, are saying, you might get them, but we're going to go through your grant and cross out every piece of verbiage that we don't agree with. So if you talk about extending to minority communities or something like that, suddenly that puts your entire grant in concern. There's also, if your city pays for you to attend a women in municipal government meeting, maybe you're not allowed, maybe the city's not allowed to cover that anymore. So how to battle some of these things, it's a hard time to be an elected official, for sure. There's a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of constituents are very concerned, and we don't really have the answers for them right now, and that's a really tough place to be. On a more exciting note, the Woodburn Association of Neighbors meets tomorrow at 7 p.m. at the Woodburn Community Complex. Enter through the double silver doors and enter the gym to your left. This Saturday, the Green Space Coalition and some other organizations will be hosting the Touch the Earth Festival at Marilla Park. And next Saturday, we do have a meeting before then, but probably not a council report. So the Cupcake and Craft Beer Festival, as well as the Handmade Market, will be happening Saturday the 26th. I'll pass it to Dave because the Handmade Market is an MRTC event, and I'm sure he would like to speak on that.
Thank you. Yes, a week from Saturday, which is the 26th, MRTC, our rail trail, will host what is really a family fun event in the Wharf District along the trail, centered around mile marker 10, and we'll have local artisans selling their products. Proceeds from that will go to the rail trail, and there'll be food trucks, vendors as well. So it's a really fun day. A lot of good people come out with their kids, and a lot of activities going on down there. So I hope to see you Saturday the 26th from noon to 5. So all afternoon. That's all.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad I didn't take your only thing then.
The first thing I want to mention was, as I was walking into council, the library director, Sarah, was walking in as well, and she pointed out to me that the tree out there has been hit. And they hit the side of City Hall as well. There's scrapes at the front of the building. So I guess Sarah said that tree's been replaced. She said 5 times?
I think 3. I think it's the third version.
Third one? Yeah. So I guess we're good about replacing the tree. But I wouldn't have noticed otherwise. So I appreciate that. I'm sure we'll get it taken care of. A couple of a couple days ago, I took it. I just went through and started reading through the completed legislation, stuff that hasn't. Some of it's been signed by Morrissey, some of it hasn't. But just looking through what's been completed, I did notice that change the bid process, and I asked Ryan to give us just like if there's something we need to be aware of or change there. I'm like a quarter of the way through. I probably won't take that much longer because most of these bills are ridiculous. But there was one as well that expanded where we can have safe surrender sites. So if we could have it'd be nice to have more safe surrender sites other than just our fire department's been expanded to, I think, like 911 centers and police stations, stuff like that. So, be cool to have more of those. Those are the two that stood out to me so far, other than all the horrible and stupid stuff that they passed. On the 8th, there was a hands-off rally downtown and throughout most of the nation, which I attended with a bunch of people. I know Danielle was there, but the crowd was very large, and I keep finding out more people that were there, so I'm not going to say who all was necessarily there. But yeah, it was good. I think it was just a great day for Morgantown in general. We started the day going to Pinocchio's grand opening, even though it's outside of the city now, which is sad, but
close to the neighborhood.
Right. It's very close to my house, so that's cool.
Right. Son and grandson have discovered it.
Yeah. So we did that, and then we went to that. Then we went to the to Monkey Wrench, and then we went to, and I think at Monkey Wrench I saw you there, and I saw our city engineer, and then we went to the Hands Off rally, and then right after that we were coming back up from the amphitheater, and I was like, oh, the History Museum's open, so we took Quentin to see the History Museum, and he really loves the printing press, which is also my favorite part of the museum, so that was cool to see. He wanted to grab everything, and so that was a little difficult, but yeah, other than that, it was fun. But just spending the whole day throughout the city and like it being so vibrant, it was just really nice. It was a great day to be out and about, and it felt really welcoming to be in our city. So, just as a closing, just to reiterate what everybody said, maybe we often have SGA representatives, and they'll start their tenure and say, "Hi, I'm the SGA representative," and then we'll be like, "Great," and then we don't see them again. So you have definitely been the opposite of that, and so I appreciate all the hard work you put into it. Thank you. That'll be that. Yeah.
And then I'll just pick up off of that and just say, if we can just give Mimi the round of applause.
Yeah.
I would repeat everything that everyone said. You're the first SGA rep that I've actually recognized, because you've come so frequently and regularly introduced yourself, and I've appreciated that. And then the fire chief as well. I appreciate you coming up and speaking today, and I've appreciated your openness and communication and the opportunity to have gone to the ceremony, although I apologize for coming in dirty from the cleanup. I ran in and changed right away, but it was really lovely, and everyone seemed to have such a great time, and it really reflected our department and everyone really well, so hats off to you on such a great event. As it relates to my own personal updates, we had the cultural fair that was downtown, and rain or shine, it still happened, so that was fantastic. And the rail trail, Deckers Creek, help me out, market.
Handmade market.
Thank you.
Market, yes.
There will also be trees from your Morgantown Tree Board will be handed out again. I think last year we gave out over 100.
Oh, good, I heard we need one.
We need one.
Yeah, we need a tree over there. By the way.
I heard about that this morning. I called him because it was my sister who said somebody drove their car into City Hall. I was like, what?
Yeah, they definitely did.
I was just thinking it didn't hit the doors.
It's just a straight.
It's like, tis just a scratch. Tis nothing but a scratch. And honestly, I think I'm good. So
move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, let's get on.